stand and face the back of the room for the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll have Ms. Potawatomi lead us in that pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now, if you'll please join me in prayer. It's the Quilter prayer. As we sit before our fabric and thread, we invite you into our creative process. Guide our hands as we cut and stitch, weaving together pieces of cloth into something beautiful. May each quilt we create be a reflection of the love, care, and attention that we have put into them. Grant us patience as we work through intricate patterns and the challenges that may arise. Help us to see the beauty in each mistake, knowing that imperfections can add character and uniqueness to the final piece, just as you have done in each one of us. Lord, may the quilts we create bring warmth, comfort, and joy to those who receive them, whether they are gifts for loved ones or donations for those in need. May your love be shown into every stitch. Bless this creative work and let it be a form of prayer, a way to slow down, reflect, and find peace in the simple act of creation. Fill us with inspiration and help us to find joy in the process, knowing that each quilt is a labor of love. Thank you for the gift of creativity and the ability to bring together simple materials to create something that can offer warmth and comfort. May our quilting always be a reflection of your love and care for each one of us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Just a couple announcements before we get started. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you out on this frigid, cold day. I know some that just didn't want to get out and travel the distance that they might have had to travel to come. So we're a little bit smaller group today, but that should give us more time to interact with each other. An example of the cold, we had one heck of a time getting our quilt blocks stuck to the wall. And all of our, the Onaga elementary students created a quilt block for us, and there is a 3-ring binder there that I'd encourage you to look through. We took samples of 3 different patterns and tried to tape them to the wall. If they fall down sometime throughout the afternoon, they're just going to stay down this time. We also have some Kansas State posters that we are pleased to have had them bring to us. I want to thank you for coming. I know our costs went up a little bit this year. How many of you have seen your costs go up in your homes? Okay. Rent for the building has gone up, our food costs, program costs and things. So I know that it has gone up from $10 to $15, but I hope you will find that the refreshments and the entertainment we give you today is actually worth more like $115. So we thank you for coming. If you have not found the restroom yet, it's in the other room in the right-hand corner. Feel free to use that as you need to. At this time, I'd like for the Quilt Turn Committee to wave your hands or stand up. Why don't you stand up? And 2 of them are in the kitchen. Robin and Donna have done all this food for you, including the soup. So I'd like for us to give them a round of applause. And then I have just some special people I want to mention before we get started. We have Miss Potawatomi with us, and I'll introduce her in a minute. We have the Peacemakers of Onaga with us, and if you two ladies would wave your hand, and they will talk a little bit about that project. We have a person representing Quilts of Valor here today, and they will talk a little bit about that. And then, of course, we have our featured quilter. So at this time, it gives me great pleasure. You know, each year we have Miss Potawatomi with us, so it's kind of just an added bonus to the day. This is Miss Sophie Wilds from Rock Creek, and I'll let her tell you a little bit about her reign.
Hi everyone, I'd like to give everyone a big welcome. I'm so glad that you are all here. I'm so excited to be here. This is my first quilt show. My great-grandmother was a quilter, so we all know about that. So you'll see one of my quilts up there on the very end since I am young. And so I'm so excited to be here, and it's so amazing to look at everyone's quilts and just see that it's wrapped in so much love, and that you really have a legacy through it. And so I'm so excited to be able to look through everyone's quilts and meet with people and speak life to them. I'm so excited for that. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a senior at Rock Creek High School this year. I am set to graduate in May, and I'm going to go and attend Kansas State University next year. I'm going to major in their accounting and marketing program. I'm so excited, not really sure what I'm going to do with that degree yet, but there is a few avenues that I can go to, so I'm super excited for that. My reign has been super fun recently. I've had a lot of parades that I get to go to and community events. I get to, like I'm doing now, speak to a lot of people, which is amazing. I get to meet a bunch of young children, a bunch of older generation people, and it's been amazing. I'm so thankful to be able to hold this position. So welcome everyone. I'm so excited to see everyone's quilts.
Thank you very much, very much. It's always wonderful to have our younger generation here, and since we gave a round of applause for Sophie, let's give a round of applause for these servers. We have one server. Johnny has been here for 3 years now, and I found out she's just an 8th grader, so we'll see her for some more years, I hope. And Sally, you've been here 3 years also, and I know Zabel's been here for 1 year. At this time, we're going to introduce our featured quilter, and we don't have a microphone cord that's going to reach long enough over to her exhibit. But her daughter, Kayleen Plummer, and her granddaughter, Amber Magnet, are used to presenting, and I have complete confidence they will project well enough for us to hear. In introducing Lavona, I found this picture, and it says, when we engage in fiber arts, we are creating something, but we're also participating in historic traditions tens of thousands of years ago. You are not only making art for your soul and for your future generations, you are embodying the work of our ancestors. And I think that completely describes Lavona. She didn't have just one type of fiber arts. She's engaged in several types of fiber arts. So with that, and Kaylee, your mom is in her 90s, right?
93.
She's 93. We have maybe one other person here older than that. Is anybody older than 93? Oh, Reba Boswell here's just 93. So we've got the young ones here today. With that, I'll turn it over to the presentation of our featured quilter.
I can do it. I can do it. Okay.
Well, is that on? Okay, well, my mother was very honored. We've heard about this for weeks and weeks, about coming up here. We're delighted to be here with you guys. Lavona has quilted as long as I can remember. Amber and I were trying to put our heads together. What we've come up with is she has 7 grandbabies, so every grandchild got a new baby quilt. We brought some of those. She has 17 great-grandbabies, and every one of them have gotten a baby quilt. She has 3 children, so my brothers and I, we each received a large quilt when we got married, and one when we each had our 25th anniversary, so you've got 6 there. She made about 10 quilts for her nieces and nephews before all of this got started. And then got to thinking, she's made 7 wedding quilts for her grandchildren. So what we brought today, we brought some of the baby quilts that she spent time making for all of our kids. The quilts on the very far end, the yellow, the peach colored one and the other yellow one, those she helped make when she was a child, but her great grandma Abbott's made those. So what would you say, 100 and some years old?
I would say at least 120.
About 120. Those are 3 that she helped get her hands on. She hand quilted all of them up until about the last 4 years, and at that point she's still piecing, she's still putting them together, but we have found other people to help quilt them for her. Her hands just can't do it. With that being said, she has made Afghans and doilies more than we can even, everybody's got Afghans in our house, everybody, and the doilies. So we're pretty honored to be able to showcase some of her work, and we appreciate this opportunity.
So I do actually want to mention my oldest, he's 22, and a couple of years ago he said, "Grandma, will you make me an Afghan?" He already got one for graduation also, but he picked out the colors and he picked out the actual style. So Grandma made this for him with his request. So.
She says she's honored.
Okay, if you want to, Katie and Amber, if you kind of want to go down the length of quilts there and point out some special things about some of them.
Okay. Well, the one thing is when she was making the baby quilts, us mothers had to put some stitches in. I mean, we had to put some stitches in. So some of these I helped embroider. My sister-in-law Linda helped do some of the quilting on some of these too. She has a niece up in Iowa that is intent on keeping her busy, so she sends us all these quilt blocks that need to be quilted or need to be embroidered. So that's where she gets a good share of these. We actually have one that you have made, I think, 14 blocks that I have to find some way to get that put together. It's sitting there in my house ready to go, so if anybody wants to assist with that, let me know. This one is about 30 years old. She's had it on her bed most of that time. She has it in the assisted living with her now.
Can you point out how those little tie things are open?
These are open down in here like this. Yeah.
That's been used ever since it's made.
Yeah. I was gonna say she probably has it on her bed probably 9 months out of the year, so if not more.
This one is in her cedar chest and waiting for the very last grandson to get married. We don't know. But it has his name on it. Somewhere there's a patch that says "From Grandma with Love." So. This is another one of those that her niece sent her the blocks, and she had embroidered everything, and I said, well, let's put it together like a wedding quilt. So when we did, we just couldn't believe how beautiful it turned out. Lots and lots and lots of hours there. Is this one yours? No.
No, this one.
That one's your wedding book.
So this is the one that Grandma gave me when Mark and I got married, and that was 25 years ago, this coming June. So it's very, very worn. I stopped using it the last maybe 5 or 8 years just because of the fact that, Grandma, I need to have you put like new pieces on it because it's getting so well used. So I put this back into the cedar chest now, just for that honor, that love. So this one sat on my bed for, I'd say probably 9-12 months out of the year. So Mark and I've used this one a lot. So it's very, very worn.
Mom, do you have any stories about this one? This was your Grandma Abbott's made
My
this.
grandma had a piece of, or did all by hand, and I picked out the materials because I was working, and then she put it on the frame and we glued it, and I helped. Well, I was 14 years old when I started quilting.
That, yeah, I don't know if you heard or not, that quilt was made with her Grandma Abbott's when she was 14 years old. So that would hold a lot of special memories.
I'm going to say this one is my baby quilt from when I was, so that was 45 years ago. So this is one that I definitely have treasured over the last 40 years of my life for sure. So,
Some of these are the newer ones that she
Yeah.
just did to keep busy, if you can believe that. So,
this one, when my boys got baptized, she made this for my oldest when he got baptized. So this has been their baptismal blanket for that time. So yeah, so we definitely always kept Grandma busy with different projects, fixing jeans and things like that over the years. So
Is there an embroidery baby quilt over there?
yes. So we decided that my mom, she's here today. So Mom, we're pretty sure that Mom embroidered most of it, and then Grandma quilted it, or kind of helped in that process. So again, that one's 45 years old.
Can you hold it a little higher? Isn't that beautiful? At break time, you will be able to go look at her quilts much closer. I think there's a bow tie quilt there too that's kind of unique.
She definitely had different styles that she did. She did multiple of each style over the years.
And the bow on that is not sewn down, is that right?
Yeah,
Right.
it's kind of tattered, tacked down maybe.
hold the bow tie. This is too much for you to handle.
So of the groupings there, which would be the oldest, do you think?
Probably that.
Can you pull that out a little bit and show that one?
This one's pretty tattered, but she has it on her cedar chest in her house.
And about what year would
My
that have
mother
been?
made that before she was married.
So her mother made that before great grandma Meta was married. So
And so for those of you that don't know, she was a Figgy, and her ancestors were the Abbottses, so.
So it would have been made of Figgy's mother.
this one.
At break time, you can figure out the relationships here. If we start that now, we won't see more quilts. But how many of you recognize the Figgy and the Abbott's names?
Yes.
How many are related? You think well, I'm pretty sure you're related somewhere. Are there any questions for Lavona or her daughter or granddaughter? Does Lavona have a favorite?
We know it's this one.
Yeah, it's this one.
Oh, that's your favorite, isn't it? Yeah.
That's all done on the sewing machine at the very back.
Yeah. If you look on the back side, she actually pieced each block. She quilted each block separately. Is actually how she put that one together.
And then sewed it together.
And then sewed that together. She's also made, if you guys can see her, she's actually wrapped up in a patch quilt.
Don't trip her.
It's
okay.
Yeah, it's okay. But
It's a double knit.
But it's a double knit. She has made hundreds of these type of quilts. People would give her just material. She just sew it together. It didn't. I mean, sometimes it had. Sometimes it was just blocks. Sometimes it was strips. Sometimes it was. I mean, just you never knew. But this actually particular one sets in my car this time of the year, just in case if there's bad weather or something. So it's nice and warm. And football games. It has come out a lot in football games over the last 10 years. So. So she was cold, so I went and got it, but.
So it looks like she has plenty of quilts over there, so if you're cold, but first get permission to take one of her quilts and use it before you take it. With that, let's give, can your mom stand up for just a minute?
There we go.
Let's give her a hand. It's an honor to have these professional quilters with us and to see what we can learn from them and the inspiration that we get from them. Our featured quilter next year will be Olga Fairbanks. So you can be looking forward to Olga's quilt collection next year.
Also an Abbott, right?
Who is also an Abbott. With that, if our quilters will come forward, we'll begin with the showing of our quilts and the turning. How many of you are here for the first time? Oh my, a lot of you. That's awesome. I'm so glad to see all of you. We'll plan on you next year. What's going to happen is we're going to hold up a quilt and you need to come up to talk about your own quilt. They will hold it up and you'll speak from the floor. I would like for you to say your name and where you're from. And if you happen to be with a special quilters group, you have about 2 minutes. If you go to 5 minutes, I'll cut you off. If you're under 2 minutes, that's okay.
So our first quilts are the newer quilts.
We're starting with the newer quilts this year rather than the old quilts because we have a lot of new quilts.
This, I think everybody can hear me, right? Okay. No? I'll talk louder. This is a quilt that I made for my daughter, Amanda. She picked out the colors and the pattern. We got it from Missouri Star Quilt. So this is one of the later ones that I've done. Oh, Kazite. And
Anything about your daughter that is deceased?
I'm only a minute. Okay. All right.
Is it hand pieced or
No, it is, Dee Groff does my quilting for me.
did you piece it by hand? Did you piece
no.
it by hand?
Machine.
Machine.
This one is very special to me. And look at the back. This is my daughter, Mandy's, but it's made up of t-shirts that were of her sister and for her. Ashley was killed in a car accident in 2009. And so these are a combination of their t-shirts that Mandy wanted to put into a quilt. So this one was very special to us. Mandy went to Northwest Missouri State, and Ashley finished her freshman year at K-State on Friday, and she was killed on Saturday. So, like I say, this one means a lot to me. And it's a very heavy quilt. I haven't felt a quilt this heavy. And this one is mine. It was my very first one that I did.
How many of you are familiar with an egg money quilt? Okay, this was taken off the pattern from the egg money, but I did not use the reproduction material because I like bright colors. And if I was going to have this on my bed, I was going to have it in bright colors. So therefore, you see some of the sparkly material and stuff like that. But this was the first class that I took with Dee, and I did the piecing, and then she quilted it for me.
What year do you think, Kate?
This was probably done in about 2010, 2011.
And then the back still.
And that was your very first quilt, right?
Yes. Okay, I am a t-shirt quilter, so I'm not a quilter per se, but I had the opportunity to go on my first mission trip this year in January to Guatemala, and there's a lady there that we met. I don't know if you know Teresa Adams from Wamego. She's Linda Falk's aunt, but she has been taking fabric to Sarah. Sarah's story. I have a picture of myself and Sarah. This lady is a wonderful lady who has worked to put together quilts, fabrics, all kinds of things, activities that she keeps busy with adopted kids. She has a 36-year-old set of twins that work with her. This is from skirts of Guatemalan women. About 150 skirts went into this crazy quilt. And so that I was very happy to be able to go ahead and bring the quilt home with me. So I have my memory of our trip, which was a wonderful experience that I was able to do.
And you did good, but you forgot to say who you were.
I'm Barb Depew.
Hi, I'm Angela, not Buse, and I'm the granddaughter for Rando and Dorothy Wegner. My mom was Pat Knott, and my aunt is May Wegner. And presenting with me is my granddaughter, Presley. She came with me last year, in case you remember the 2-month-old that was here.
Gotta start them young.
Gotta start young, that's right. So this quilt here I made around, I think I started in 2019 and finished in 2020. And every center square, including where the fabric is hand embroidered. So I hand embroidered all of that, and my son-in-law, her father was in the Air Force, so I gave this quilt to my daughter Adriana and her husband Fletcher, and then the fabric on the back coordinates with it too. And so I like doing Americana kind of quilts, so I love that quilt. This is one of my favorites, to be quite honest.
Isn't it the most expensive one?
Yeah, it was also the most expensive. Yeah, that was some expensive fabric. So this one here is actually very special to this particular quilt turning because the squares were one of the gift prizes last year. So I put all of my tickets into it. And I put all of my daughter Adriana's tickets into it. And then my aunt went and bought a couple more tickets and put them in there, and she ended up winning it. It took a lot to get these, but we really wanted them. And I wanted to make them up for my granddaughter because coming up here, and then it was made for her, so it's from her very first quilt turning to come to. My Aunt May, and I quilted the squares, did all the angel quilts, and she actually embroidered her.
I didn't quilt.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, I got that mixed up. Embroidered, and one of them it has her name in it. And then the gold color is in the same material that I put on my daughter's quilt that we just showed. And then we did a machine embroidery by my husband down here, and he did these machine embroidered. But we put our name in there. It says in loving, made with love. Made with our love, and it has all of our names on it. My Aunt May Wegner, my name, and my husband's name. And then it's got faux rabbit fur on the back.
Oh.
Yeah, anybody wants to touch that later, I recommend it. This is my, yeah, and you can see it, the design in it was machine embroidered, and it's called Grandma's Wings, and it's angels with wings and stars and things like that in the embroidery, so it shows up against that faux rabbit fur. But this is my third one with the faux rabbit fur, and I just love it. It's super warm. My son has one that's extremely heavy. It's a queen one. It'll fit queen in full size. It doesn't move. It's so heavy on the bed. But he sleeps in the basement, and now he doesn't even use a heater because it's so warm. So, thank you.
I'm Deanna Fairbanks. I'm from here in Onaga. Put it up to your mouth. There. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Hold it next to your mouth. Yes, you do.
All right. Anyway, Deanna Fairbanks. I'm from Onaga. I'm not necessarily really a quilter, but I got the hair that I wanted to try applique. So I got a couple books off of eBay, and this is a pattern in one of the books that I absolutely fell in love with. So I really didn't know how to start, how to pick out fabrics, so Sylvia over here went with me to Topeka, and we spent half a day picking out fabrics. Anyway, and so I got that put together in the last few months.
Are you going to make it into a quilt?
It's wall hanging.
Wall hanging.
Excuse me. Oh, this way a second.
Can we not do both of them at the same time? Okay. Next year, we'll see the quilted version of her applique, right?
Are we ready?
I'm Gretchen Cope. My daughter Mary and her husband Jason gave me this quilt in 2007. I watched their twin boys for 3 years, and I use it all the time. It's been washed probably 20 times since they're 21 years old. And it was made by Amish ladies in Yoder. I cannot tell you which Amish ladies, but I might know them, and it is all hand done as far as I can tell.
One thing Gretchen didn't say, when her twin grandsons were born, they weighed
111 and 2 1/4.
111 and 2 1/4.
They were due November 23rd, and they were born August 21st.
Oh my, due November 23rd and born August 20th. So you can imagine the amount of time that Mary and her husband needed Grandma's help. So how many of you think that was a very appropriate gift to give to Grandma?
Grandma would not take payment, so we ended up getting her the quilt.
Us grandmas don't take payment, do we?
I know, but
in money forms, we take payment in other forms. We get the honor. Since I'm standing over there, I'm going to go back to that quilt that Kay made, her first quilt. How many of your first quilts look like that? When she told me that, I thought, everything I did was square. And it still is just square. I truly admire everybody that can create designs other than something that's square. This is my Christmas quilt made out of scraps of fabric. I like sewing scraps together. And how many of you have gotten done with a quilt and you go, oh, it's not really as big as I want it to be? So you scrounge around and you add a border. And then you scrounge some more, and then how many of you end up going to the fabric shop to buy more fabric on something that was supposed to be all scraps? But this is my Christmas quilt, and I like it. It's been washed.
More than once?
More than once. This is also mine, and see, it's square. It is tied, it is all wool, and part of this wool came from Ecuador about 50 years ago. And I had this wool, and then I went to K-State. How many of you went to K-State and had to have a wool dress to wear to the football games? Because we dressed to go to the football games. And I thought, well, what am I going to do with that? And so one day, I just started cutting squares and sewing squares. How many of you have done that? Out on a whim, you just started something. And you hope it turns out well. The thing I learned on this is you really don't bind with wool. It was terribly hard to bind. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I have a grandson, our oldest grandson, I think is going to go to K-State next year, in 2 years, so he'll probably get it. Or it may go to the rescue mission. And I tied that one. Now, this quilt, how many of you out there have helped your granddaughter make a quilt? Hold your hand up high. That is an interesting experience, right? This is Vivian's third quilt. She is at dance today in Olathe. She wanted to show the quilt, so she asked if I would show it for her. This is her fair quilt. And this quilt, she wanted to do a stack and whack. Now, how many of you have made stack and whacks? It's not square, you know. How many of you find it a little hard to make a stack and whack? And she picked out the fabric, and it's interesting to take a granddaughter with you to pick out fabric. What I had in mind was 100 miles away from what she had in mind. And she wanted to bind it. Well, she wasn't sure. She wanted black on it. She knew that. Well, we got home, and she looked through my stuff and found enough yellow. She decided that. Well, we didn't have enough yellow to go both directions, so then she chose this other greenish yellow to put in there. She made this quilt all by herself at my house, and it was so tempting to not tell her, I think you ought to take that out and redo that. The other two quilts we made together, I could kind of coerce her into doing that. And you know, she learned more from this quilt because the judge was the one that said, I think you should have taken that out and done that over. So I don't know if she'll make a quilt next year though. But anyhow, she enjoys it. It's on her bed at home, and it's hers. So.
As you all know, my name is Sophie. This is my quilt from my great-grandmother, Nightingale. She's from Burns, Kansas. And this was made in 2007 when I was born. And presenting with me is my mom, Kristen. But beautiful pink. She took months working on this. Obviously, I was very young, but I'll have my mom tell a little bit more.
She is the first of the great-grandkids, and I say, Grandma, we're having a girl. She says, oh, thank goodness. And I said, well, I want the quilt. I want it to just look like Pepto-Bismol. We were so excited to have a little girl. And she said, well, darling, I think I can do that. So we went down to El Dorado, Kansas, and she helped me pick all of it out. But in here are also fabric from my mother's childhood clothes that she picked out. A lot of my grandmother's work had the clothing that she made. There might have been some old Halloween costume clothing in there as well, but it's very, very special to us. She went home to be with the Lord in January of last year, and so it's very, very special to us.
And it's all hand done.
It is all hand done. Yep, on a 2x4 and the vice script. You had to turn it, then you had to print the vice script, and Sophie said, Mom, this is my first quilt turning. And I said, well, honey, I spent many a weekend with your grandma at Ladies' Aid, so this is an absolute privilege to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Jeannie Merritt. I'm from Wamego, and we have a kids quilt group there. And I think our oldest girls are maybe 14, and then we have on down a little boy that's 5. Well, they learned how to make half-square triangles. You could look closely. Almost all of it is half-square triangles and a few squares thrown in. So it'll keep you up at night. And we're going to raffle that off for them. They got, for every 3 half-square triangles they made, they got a ticket to win this. But then they're also selling tickets, $2 a piece if you're interested. And the back is Yep, the back is just what we had left that we could make work for a backing. So it's hearts. we're starting this to promote it around Valentine's Day, and then it will be drawn for the winner on Mother's Day.
I'm Betty Smith, and I'm from Halstead, Kansas. Nancy Hubbard is my sister. And I wanted to try and do a rag quilt. Don't ever start with denim. It took me, I went to Nancy's house to find that she has stacks of old denim, so I went there and picked it out. And I had a little bit of felt. And then it didn't take that long to sew it together. It was the cutting part. And I started with the little scissors that were sharp. I thought, no, this isn't going to work. So I had my daughter order me this on Amazon. Best tool you could ever have. It is sharp and it goes like this instead of sticking your finger in. So it was great. And when I washed it, washing it wasn't the problem, it was drying it. Every 10 minutes I had to stop the dryer and clean the dryer bin out. I did that for about an hour and a half. I made this for my grandson. He is graduating from high school this next year. And this is going to be one of his graduation presents.
I'm Sharon Bush from Wamego. This is a quilt from a quilt cruise. In 2022, Jeannie and I went to Rome, and we had a lot of at-sea days. So, didn't finish it on the cruise, of course, but finished it in about 24, I think, and entered it at the state fair and got first place. It was called, it's Kansas Troubles, and it was called All Wound Up. Oh, and then the quilting was, it was too special once I got it together. So a friend has a professional quilter friend in South Dakota, Patty Heinz from Inseams or something like that. Anyway, she did all the custom quilting, and I think that's why it got first place.
I'm Janet Clanny, and I made this in the early 20s. I can't remember what year I finished it. Anyway, I thought it was appropriate to show this year since the United States is celebrating its special birthday. But it was the Contemporary Quilt Guild has a block of the month, and you get a free pattern every month. And then the Prairie Star Quilt Guild had a challenge to make a quilt out of scraps. So I did the block of the month, and I did from my stash. It all came from my stash. And I made the quilt. And Ginger Biesenthal is the one that quilted it for me.
And the quilting is incredible.
Yeah, you can really see it on the back.
You can see it, yeah, stars.
Yeah, she did a great job on it. I was trying to figure out, yeah.
Hello, I'm Phyllis Dolchek from Silver Lake. This is the retirement quilt that my sister, Barbara Crump, and my other sister, Kathy Breer, made for me when I retired I was at Silver Lake Schools. Barb Depew was our food service person who came and audited us. She was really nice. Anyway, they put it together when they asked what color, and I said blues and browns, I guess. The barn up at the top is my dad's barn, Barbara made. And then the second one it says Happy Trails. I said, that's the song I want at my funeral. We had cows and we had chickens, and Kathy made kind of the other, kind of the plain ones. But anyway, Israel was special because, Barbara got a t-shirt just to cut apart and said, live like someone left the gate open. So, we all like horses too. So that's what that is from my retirement.
For the rest of you coming up, it's been asked if I could have you tell how long did it take you to make that creation that you're showing to everybody? And how many of you start in 1 year and finish in the next decade? But I think that's kind of fun to know how long something took you. Somewhere I have something that talks about how much it costs to make a quilt if you valued your time. You know what, no one would be able to afford our quilts, would they? They just couldn't. So if you know about how long it took you, or when you started and when you finished, that would be great.
My name is Carol Keithline from Netawaka, Kansas. There's 5 of us here today. We meet at one of their homes because down in the basement, all 6 of us can put up our sewing machines. We call ourselves the Basement Beauties. And one of them had connections in Topeka well, it wasn't really a garage sale, but this woman was selling all of her material to go to an assisted living place. And I got a machine, I don't remember who it's by, but it's called a Go. And you just roll it to cut out your pieces. And that's what I made this with. I had won, there were 32 fat quarters at a shop hop, and I won those. And that's all of them.
That's what I said, that's how you tell how you cut it.
Yeah, oh, it is so easy. So anyway, this is made out of that.
It looks so precise, too. The corners and everything are
yeah,
so
everything is already, you know, all the dog ears and everything are all cut off when you cut it out.
It's very cool. But I said it's very precise.
And you don't have any trimming to do, as long as you stay with a 1/4 inch.
So how expensive is that machine?
Well, I bought it at that place for $25. Yeah. So the quilt was not very expensive since I won all the fat quarters.
That's great.
And this one, back when Holton had quilting on the square, we did the block of the month. And it was the 12 squares, and then they gave us paper piecing patterns. I had to make a couple extra ones, and then to make it a little bigger, I made a bigger pattern for paper piecing. And that one, it was a long time ago we did it, but I just now got it quilted.
This is the back. This is the eye test.
I'm Dee Groff, and I'm from Havensville, and I like optical illusions.
Oh, wow.
And I seen this pattern on a YouTube, and so I decided I'd like to give it a whirl. And just luckily, I was donated this fabric, the striped fabric. And so I cut it out and I started making blocks, and it wasn't quite big enough, so then I had to make more blocks. And anyway, well, the ladies like the back better, but
It's just so wild that you're looking for something in all the trees. This is an optical illusion.
this came from Quilting on the Square, I think, when it was closing out. And it was panels, actually, and so I put them together.
I thought it was the front.
So I'm Adriana Luttrell, and I'm from Holton, Kansas, and I made this quilt, and with my grandma, she quilted it, and I sewed all of it. I picked out the fabric and the pattern. See, my grandma picked out the back. I picked out the pattern on like Pinterest, I think, and I picked out all the fabric. How old are you? I'm 12 years old.
Wow. How long did it take her to
She finished it when she was like,
So how long did it take her? Like a year?
How long did it take her to do it?
oh, 3 or 4 times, I suppose, coming to sew with me. She'd stay all night and we'd sew and everything. But it's actually, the blocks are like 32-inch squares. They're huge blocks. And so we had no idea it was going to make the secondary pattern until we put it together. And it really turned out cool.
It is very cool. Good job. We're going to move to baby quilts, these quilts. Okay.
Not this one?
Thank you. There should be a pink one. There is.
You want that one first?
That one's first.
Okay, we'll lay that one.
This is sort of my baby because my mom started embroidering blocks in 1948 and she finished it in 1987. So since it was pink and I'm the only girl in my family, I got it. So it's pretty special to me because my mom made it.
And it's got pretty pink on the back.
This one or the other one?
So I guess it'd be this one.
This one. The green one. You only have 3.
I just brought the one.
You just have 3.
Sure.
My grandmother made this. I'm Adia Luttrell. I'm Dee Groff's daughter. And I guess from the story that she made all of the grandkids quilts like this, but all of my uncles were railroaders, so they were all trains. But my dad is the mechanic, so I got the trucks. But I think it's really cool with all the patterns and the applique. Pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see from back there, but it says Groff,
as part of the smoke.
And
the smoke spells broth.
Yep, and then my name, Adia Marie. My birthday is there. And then here is my mom's maiden name, Pritchard.
How cool is that?
And my mom did all of the piecing and embroidery and quilting.
And your mom was teacher.
My mom was Ada.
Ada Pritchard. Sorry, you're Pritchard.
Okay, this one, I actually have two of them because my mom's good friend from high school made a few of these for my kids. One was for Adriana, and the other one is for my son, Eli. I think they are different, there's different blocks in each one of them, but it says, all creatures, great and small.
And then it's got all these little creatures on the back.
Oh, cool.
My friend Gayleen made it and then I quilted it.
Let's give this.
You with baby quilts now.
I think Dee and her daughter and granddaughter are the only 3-generation couples here. Is that right? Let's give them. Oh, no. You're right.
That's great.
Oh dear, Dee, you gotta have a great
Adriana and Presley.
Well, let's give these generational people a round of applause. It's neat to see those kinds of crafts passed on to future generations and to celebrate that.
Okay, I'm Mae Wagner, and this quilt was created by my mother, Dorothy Wagner, and if you live in Pot County, she probably papered your house. And amazingly, some people still have that paper on their walls. So this was created for one of my sons, I'm not sure which one. It was hand embroidered by Mom and hand quilted, and hands, it's all one piece but set together. So this was done in the 70s because both kids were born then. And this is Fisherman Fred, and this too was one of my son's quilts. And this is the male version of the Sunbonnet Sue pattern. So, and as I say, it was created for one of my sons, I'm not sure which one. However, if you haven't seen me in the last 6 months, I'm going to be a grandma in March. For the first time, my son's a little late, he's almost 50. So these are going to be handed down to my grandson. So I don't know which kid Mom made them for, but they're going on to the next generation, and I'm really proud of that.
She's coming. Oh, she's coming. Oh, here. Oh, that just hangs on the wall. I was trying to figure out.
I'm Sylvia Levens. I'm from Topeka. I had done a number of quilts that were gingham goose, and I think I had done this one earlier, but this one I made because my husband drove the train at Gage Park. I think there's somebody else here whose husband drove?
That would have been my aunt.
Okay.
And she was unable to, due to the weather, she was unable to come.
Okay. Any rate, I had a lot of trouble getting this train, taking pictures. I'm not a good artist at drawing. And so I went out several times to take another picture to get this train, the Gage Park train, going the right way. in the right dimensions. And then this much and this is off of the pattern. The rest of it is according to the terrain at Gage Park. Okay, this quilt is for raffle, sale for via tickets. We'll have tickets back there by the barn quilt. And this is the state's quilt. This was created or embroidered by Maureen Barnes, who was my mother-in-law. It has all 50 states. It has the year, the number of state, like when it was made a state, in the order it was made, the bird and the flower. So each one. It has a cute little story. Reen did all the embroider and then just sold the squares at a garage sale in Havensville. My cousin Judy Wagner bought the squares, was so excited that she got the squares. She gave them to Ruth Castor, right? She gave them to Ruth Castor. Ruth Castor set them all together. And then I guess Ruth gave it to the ladies at St. Luke's, and they tied it and did the tying and putting the backing and stuff on. So this quilt just has a lot of love from a lot of different organizations. And it's for sale. And it's a donation to the Onaga Historical Society, so it's a fundraiser.
And you know what? You could buy tickets and give this lady a little bit of competition on winning that quilt. Now, this quilt will be given out at our annual meeting in February. The tickets,
You don't have to be there.
but you don't have to be there. We'll make sure you get it. The tickets are up here. I'll find somebody that will sell them for me.
I'll do it.
Sue, I do. If I get to Sue, I'll put long enough she'll do it. If you're interested in a ticket, we do need to have your name and either an email or a cell number to contact you. I think it's neat that this is an example of how easily could this have been lost. If somebody had bought it from Kansas City, this quilt would not have come back around to our community and to the generation it belongs to the family it belongs to. So I think it's neat how that all came together, and we're really, Ruth Caston was not able to be here today, but we're thankful for her for putting that all together. She, once again, looked in her stash of stuff and found the bars and border and things for that. So it's a good thing we have these stashes around. Seems like I was going to say something else. We're about ready for break. We do have extra door prize tickets. If you want to, this will be your last chance to get those. And that's with Lisa up here at this table. There's still free will donation stuff. We really want to promote Feed My Starving Children. All of that money back there for the barn quilt, which was made by Tasha Lara. If you haven't looked at that, look at it, it's stunning. Reva Boswell donated one of her rag rugs that she crochets. It makes out of rescued sheets. And then we also have a neat lap quilt that Janet Finney and Deb Boos put together. I think that was a rescued one too, right? It's a rescued quilt also. So please give your attention to Feed My Starving Children. And would you like to say a little more about that? And the Feed My Starving Children have 2 quilts on display back there. We are going to extend our break time just a little bit today because we would like for those of you that would like to look at these quilts a little bit closer, especially that fake rabbit fur, you know? We're going to give you a little more time to do that. And before you come back, you need to pick up a goblet of Kansas Day Punch. Don't drink it till you get back to your table though, and we'll toast Kansas Day. So.
Let's do that. You gonna say something about that sounds great.
How much? I'm Sharon Bush again from Wamego. How many of you have ever heard of Feed My Starving Children? No? A few? Okay, a few, not very many. Praise Fest in Manhattan, how many of you ever heard of that? So the last 3 or maybe 4, at least 3 years, they have done a food packing event for Feed My Starving Children, which I helped with that for 3 years. And it was, the first year, it was Greek to me. I didn't know what it was. Feed my starving children, you know, we were going to pack meals and I didn't know if we were putting lasagna in bags or what we were doing. Jeannie, you want to go get that bag? So I have a sample of what we pack when we pack these meals. And I wish you guys had some internet up here. Because I could, or a little TV or something, we could show you some YouTubes. But we have some half-sheet handouts that you guys can help yourselves to when you look at our table back there. It's got, and when you, yeah. Huh? QR code. Well, yeah, but that's not what I mean. I mean, if you go on your computer at home, you can look up Feed My Starving Children, and there's all kinds of information. There's little YouTube videos that can explain it so much better than what I can. But I just want to give you a couple of tidbits of information. I don't want to fill your head with a bunch of numbers that you aren't going to remember. They have been in existence since 1987. They have 8 permanent sites in 4 different states, and then they have these mobile packing events, which is what we are going to do through our church in Wamego over the 4th of July weekend this year. Since it's the 250th birthday, we thought that would be a special way to spread the love of Jesus and share our faith, and it being the 250th, that we just thought it would be a neat event to have. So, over 2 days on July 3rd and 4th, it will be about 100 degrees warmer than it is today, which is a crazy thing to think about. Anyway, they bring a semi-trailer to our site, and for 2 days we have 2 to 3 packing events per day. Oh shoot, that little cup back there. Can you bring me that cup too? And they have these packing. We pack meals, which we have a room about like this, and they fill it with tables and food. And this, well, there's a envelope in here with the food, which consists of soy. There's a cup of soy. There's a cup of rice, and the cups are like this size. And then there's there's a scoop of vegetables, dehydrated vegetables, and vitamins, and one other, soy, rice, vitamins.
And veggies.
And the veggies, yeah. And it fits in this bag that you can look at later. This bag represents 8 meals.
Wow.
So when they cook this up, and I don't have the recipe exactly, but it's equivalent to 8 meals. When they talk about a meal, they talk about feeding a child for a year. It's one of these meals for a year. They get 1 meal a day, not 3 meals a day, 1 meal a day for a year. And that, they are thrilled. They don't have food. So a meal a day for a child costs, it's just under 30 cents a meal. To feed a child for a year costs about $109. And one of the things that we did in our packing groups in Manhattan the last 3 years, we had these spoons that represented, I can't talk about this without crying. It has the Bible verse, Matthew 25:35, and it, which is, what is it? Yeah, thanks. Hang on a second, I'll find it. I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. And I don't have a bunch of these spoons right now, but this is actually our kickoff. I'm sorry to be rambling so much. We were just thrilled to be able to expose people to the program and what's going on. But we will probably have more of these. But what we did was, for donations of $109, we have a little magnet, and you could donate towards that and have it on your refrigerator to represent a child that you helped feed for a year. That's just one part of it. This is just to make people aware of what Feed My Starving Children is. This isn't even our main fundraiser. We're just getting this thing kicked off. The quilts I'll tell you about right after the break, and that's the main part of the fundraiser we wanted to share with you today. Besides, well, I guess I told you about.
Where are these distributed to?
They all over the world. Haiti is a main place here recently, and there's all kinds of information on the website about where the meals have been distributed in the past. But besides raising money for this, when it gets close to July 4th, we hope you'll possibly be available to help with packing meals. That's a big part of it. There's a couple of really neat videos on the website about the meal packing event and how it all comes together. I don't even know how to describe it. One of the things that they talk about or they show is the hairnets. We saved our hairnets, and I have mine on my. I think it's on my rearview mirror in my car to remind me that I helped feed a child. And then if you have a hairnet in your car, people ask you, what's that there for? But when people come together to pack these meals, you have CEOs, may have people from a homeless shelter. There's 5-year-old kids and 103-year-old people next to each other. There's jobs for every age, every disability, every ability. But once you have a hairnet on, you're all the same. So, anyway. Okay, all right.
Can you tell that she has a passion about this project? She does. Let's give her a round of applause. They also, it sounds like we're just asking for your money all day long, doesn't it? We have multiple ways to spend however much you want here today. But they also have a quilt that they are raffling off along with theirs is separate from what this event is raising on the 3 items in the back. That money will all go to feed my starving children. I took time on the website. I recommend that you go in and you'll say, gosh, I should have given a bigger donation to that project. If we look around the world, how many starving children do we have, even in our own state? I don't know if any of you have taken the opportunity to see the orphan train exhibit up at the museum. It will be there one more week. But there was 250,000 children who were starving and in the slums and areas of New York within a 50-year time frame that were rescued through the orphan train. We would like to think that's all over now, but when you stop and think about children in tenuous situations right now in families, it's not all over, it's just a different form. So anything you can do to help children, including a warm quilt, is great. And with that, some of you probably need to go to the bathroom.
I'll be in the back booth.
And Sue will be at the back of the room with the 50 state quilt tickets.
Is that $5 for a ticket?
5 for a ticket and 5 for 20. I have a poster.
You have a poster?
I have a poster somewhere.
That'd be good.
Keeping all these things in my mind.
Okay.
Now, before you come back, though, you need to pick up your stemware of punch and bring it back to the table. I'll kind of indicate 5 minutes before we want you all back, but we do want you to get a look at the quilts, because I think some of you are kind of curious about some of those, and would like to take some time doing that. And maybe you want to see the door prize tickets and things. Anything else, May?
No, I was just going to get your first one.
Okay. Okay, go to break. Barb and Mary. And we will celebrate Kansas Day. And this is kind of a special year in that we will be also celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. So as we sing Home on the Range, let's think of both of those.
Explain about the flag.
Tell about the flag.
Okay, this is one of the things as a perk for retirement from the state of Kansas. This flag was flown above the Capitol on December 5th, the day that I retired. So I received this as my gift. So I am sharing it today with you.
Does everybody hear that? Say it again, Barb, in the microphone.
Okay, this was a gift from the state of Kansas as I retired. It was on December the 5th. This flag was flown above the Capitol that day, and that is something they offer to their employees that retired. So, sharing it with you today.
So, happy birthday, Kansas.
Happy birthday, Kansas. Okay. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kansas. Happy birthday to you.
Does anyone in here have a January 29th birthday?
Oh, yeah. Nope, one back there.
One back there. Two back there. Well, this is a toast to our Kansas Day birthdays. With that, I'm going to have Robin Colderman explain a little bit about that sewing machine that she brought in to share with us.
Just real quick, I want to get to the rest of the quilt turning here. Some of you have already talked to about the 1927 Singer sewing machine back there, and if you want to try it, go ahead. Just make sure you only turn it clockwise. Don't go backwards or it really messes it up. But otherwise it has a very fine stitch, front and back. It does better than my machine. And my mother won that from our Peacemakers quilt. The late Jeannie Merritt donated that to be won. My mother hasn't seen it yet because I've had it the whole time. I cleaned it up and oiled it. You do have to oil those old machines quite often. This one, every Singer sewing machine, some of you guys know this because you have old Singer sewing machines, but they have a serial number on the front, and if you go to the website, you can find the model number. And this one happens to be a number 66K. And the K designates that it was made in Kilbowie, Clydebank, Scotland. So whether it was sold here or an immigrant brought it over, I'm assuming more that somebody brought it over. But these Kilbowie plant was started in 1867 and it closed in 1980. And at the peak, it was putting out 13,000 machines. Was it a day or a week? I think it was a day. The demand for sewing machines outstripped the production. It's kind of a fascinating story about that. So if you want to try it, that is a 99-year-old sewing machine that you can say that you hand cranked.
Thank you, Robin. And I would like, let's give her a round of applause. Robin does a lot of the research for our artifacts in the museum. She's very, very thorough. When she puts an exhibit together, you know it's going to be correct. And done in an artistic way.
If your sewing machine doesn't show up on the internet, you can call Singer and they will tell you, because I have one that's older than what the internet
Why don't you share that? I can't paraphrase all that.
If you have an old Singer and you look on the internet for the serial number and it doesn't show, call the company and they will tell you what year it's made, because I have one and I had to do that with.
Isn't it fascinating the information we learned here today that we didn't plan on learning? And now I would like Nancy Hubbard to come up for just real quickly and talk about the particular project that she's involved with.
Sure.
I'm here to tell you about the Wamego Valley Quilter Valor Guild. We have this year 12 presentations to make, starting February the 21st, anywhere from Topeka to Council Grove. And so we need 80 quilts this year. Now, this is a sample of one that's done. My husband got it. And this is one I started. Our guild will provide you with the fabric if you don't have red, white, and blue fabric. And you can put some yellow or gold in it. The smallest that it can be is 55 by 65 inches. The preferred size is 60 by 80 inches. And the largest can be 72 by 90.
I generally make mine 5 foot wide and 6 foot long. And that's, I also use scraps. And you can pick any pattern you want. But the fabric has to be cotton, the batting and the backing cotton. We have the Lady Pam flock from Patsico who will long arm quilt it for you free. So if you piece it, you can give it to any of us, our members. We'll give it to her. She'll bring it back. And you can put the binding on, or some of us will put the binding on. It costs you $15 a year to join our guild. We only meet 4 times a year, and one of those 4 times is a sit and stitch. And so you can bring a sewing machine or whatever. I am a hand quilter. You can do that, or you can quilt it on your sewing machine. Okay? There is a prescribed way by the national organization, the way we have to present them. So you don't just make one and give it to your neighbor. We have to do it in a prescribed way. If you have any questions, see me. I'll give you my phone number. I'll give you the dates we're going to make. We would love to have more people, because right now we are at a membership of 21. Take 80 quilts and divide that by 21. Okay? And even if you want to make a quilt and not join our guild, you can do that. My sister-in-law in Council Grove does that because she knows a veteran down there. And on the back of every quilt is a label that is provided by the national organization, and you have to have that label on it, not just saying Nancy Hubbard made this thing. Okay? If you have any questions, please visit with me.
Or if you know a veteran who has not received their Quilt of Valor, let Nancy know also. There's a lot of them out there that have not received that. At this time, you want to come up and talk a little bit more about your Peacemaker quilt? Yeah, they're going to show the quilt that they're raffling off.
Sorry. Okay, how many of you have done a shop hop? Shop hop? Yes? No? Maybe? How about back in 2006? This is from a shop hop in 2006. A lady in our group donated, it goes the other way. So a lady in our group donated the kit. Our group had us sew in, like, what we have, 3 days. So we sewed the blocks, and then I finished piecing the borders and quilted it. And so this is going to be raffled for Be My Starving Children. And we'll sell the tickets for $5 each, or 5 for 20. And we'll be selling tickets. We've got some flyers with a QR code, and I can show you how to do that. It doesn't work here because there's no internet. But anyway, to me, when this all kind of happened, because we've had this for over a year, right?
And Ruth is 92 years old.
Well, I mean, she gave it to us over a year ago, and we just now got it together, and now we're going to raffle it for the 250th birthday of our country. So to me, this is a God thing. this was meant to be. So we're going to raffle this. And then we also have this other quilt. Jeannie, you want to tell them about that one?
Well, this one, here, it's upside down. The Grouchy Ladybug. And a lot of you may know that story. It's a children's story. Eric Carle is the author. But we had a donation of fabric that came to our Peacemaker Quilt group in like November, I believe it was. And a man had all this fabric in his garage, and I mean like boxes and boxes and boxes of good fabric. Also was the quilt top that this lady had made. She died in 2021, so I mean, it's been in his garage and had never been quilted. So we quilted it, and one of our ladies said, well, how about a bag? So we made a bag and bought the book. And there's a pillow in here as well. So it's going to be on display at the Wamego Library for a couple of months. But the drawing itself will be in July 2nd, 3rd, 4th, something like that. So if you're interested, yeah, you get the whole shebang, and the tickets are, again, $5 each or $5 for 20.
Do you all know what a shop copy is? No. I don't either, so can somebody tell us what a shop copy is?
Well, there's a Nebraska one. You all are pretty close to Nebraska, and there's a Kansas one. It depends on how big. There's an all Nebraska one. I think that this year, I think there's an all Kansas and Nebraska, where a bunch of shops get together and they're on a list, and you go from shop to shop for sometimes for a year, sometimes it's 3 months, 6 months, and you buy fabric. And usually they have specials. And what else? Yeah, you cut it up and sew it back together.
That sounds like a good field trip. At this time, if Lisa McGowan could come up.
You and I'll hold this up for me.
Many of you know Jolene Teskey Cervantes, and she has taken on a mission at our museum to research one of the beginning guilds in Onaga, the Needlecraft Club. And she was reluctant to drive out from Kansas City today in this weather to present this. It's an honor for me to share part of her research with you. She had the passion for this project. The Onaga Needlecraft Sewing Club began in December of 1947 and ended in October 1996. Now, while I read this summary, this is one of the quilts they would have made, and I'll let Lisa talk about the quilt then. In this Needlecraft Club, they started out with 12 charter members, and I'm going to read those a little bit later. And if you're a descendant of one of those people, I would like for the descendants to get together for a picture. The membership was limited to 12 by the Constitution. The early charter members lived either in Onaga or south of Onaga and lived within 10 miles of each other. The minutes of the club, for some reason, ended in 1996. You know, those of you that work with museums or anywhere, you'll find gaps where somebody didn't keep everything they maybe should have kept, and I'm probably guilty of that. Each member hosted a meeting in their home, and they would select a project for the meeting. Dues were 2 cents a month, or $1, and it went up to $1 a year when they ended. Now, if they had a chart, it had in their charter, if they did not let the hostess know they were not coming, there was a 5-cent fine. And a 5-cent fine if you were late without a good excuse. They enforced this per the July 1982 minutes, when Francis and Erna Wagner, right, had to pay a nickel for not letting the hostess know they were going to be late. They had mystery sisters and secret sisters and gave a birthday and a Christmas present to their sisters. From the beginning to 1974, the hostess held they hosted 3 card parties a year, playing, what game do you think they played? Pitch. I would guess it was 7-point pitch maybe, or 10-point pitch. One of those 2 for sure. And they always had an annual Christmas dinner. Jolene says, I feel the members had a strong bond. During that nearly 50 years time frame, they had their children married, had grandchildren and great-grandchildren. They lost children, parents, husbands, and members of the club. What a source of comfort and strength they must have been to each other. The minutes reflect delicious meals, lunches, and snacks, playing pitch and bingo, enjoying and having fun together. Jolene writes, I dedicate the time I spend on this project to my mother, Lenora. I'm so grateful she had needlecraft sewing clubs and the women who were members in her life. Those members were Violet Grossnickel Fairbanks, Erna Wagner Groff, Delta Wagner Hodge, Donna Megers Hodge Driscoll, Alta Muma McGuire, Louise Coker McGuire, Lenora Honey Teskey, Delia Wagner Valberg, Dorothy Baker Wagner, Geneva Shihai Wagner, Marie M. Groff Wagner Valentine, Viola Risto Winstor. Those were the charter members. How many of you are related to at least one of those people? I would like for us, after we're done today, to get a picture of that. Now I'm going to let Lisa talk about her quilt.
I wish I could give as good of a presentation as Debbie did, but this quilt was found in my grandma's house after she passed away, and we noticed it had all these names on it, and we didn't know where it came from, but luckily it says in the middle of it, Needlecraft Club, November 6, 1947, so I imagine this was one of the first ones maybe that they did. It's got a lot of the different members' names on it. I don't believe my grandma is on this one though, but I'm sure she helped make it since she was one of the yeah, that might be it, okay, she is on there. So she did help make this, and I know that they all got together and did a lot of quilting and sometimes played cards and other things. And I think that what Debbie presented was just wonderful about how they had such a deep friendship and the neighbors and friends that were a part of this. I remember some of them really well, so it's a really neat deal. I'm glad we were able to present this today.
Thank you, Lisa. Jolene was going to bring 2 other of the Needlecraft Club quilts out, and then we located one belonging to, well, the person that has possession of it right now would be Kim Groff. I can't think of her last name now. Brewer, yeah. And she has a flag one that we're hoping maybe will come to the museum someday.
Now, for those of you that do genealogy or are interested in the history of the Needlecraft Club, there are pink handouts up here on the table, and you're welcome to a set of those handouts to document, especially if it's part of your family. And with that, I think we're ready for the last round of quilts. Let's give them a round of applause while we're doing that.
Well, this is our mother's quilt. I think this is the last one that she pieced. Back in 1972, my grandfather was diagnosed with leukemia. And so since he couldn't go outside and do things, my grandma and my mom would piece quilts, and they'd put it on the quilting frame, and he would knot the quilts. So I think this is one of the last quilts that he did knot. I had another quilt that he knotted, and it is in pieces. It's been well used, and my daughter has 2 of his quilts that he knotted, and they're falling apart also. The material in this quilt, I can recognize several of the pieces of material from when I was little, and Nancy said she could recognize them too. So this one has not been used as much as the other ones. It has been used, but I've had it in my cedar chest for a while now.
We have some really big quilts here today, don't we?
Yes. I'm tall, but my arms are getting tired.
I'm Bev Rainey. I live in Topeka. This is what we call Grandma Rainey blanket. My mother-in-law made this, and she lived in Erie, Kansas. I never got around to asking her when she made it, but she had it on her spare bed, and we always slept under it. And
It's hand quilted. Is it hand pieced
it is.
as well?
It's hand pieced and hand quilted. And I told her, I said, I just love that quilt on your spare bed. And she said, put your name on it. When I'm gone, you can have it. And I said, oh, I couldn't do that. And it didn't matter whether I did or I didn't, because she passed away in 2008. And my husband's sister decided that she was going to be in charge, and she decided who got what quilts. And we got a store-bought quilt. And so I thought, that's okay. I didn't quilt, but I thought, that's okay. I'll teach myself how to quilt, and I'll make my own bow tie quilt. And then I was telling my brother-in-law and different brother-in-law and sister-in-law, we went out to dinner with them a couple years after that. And I was telling her about the quilt that I wanted, and she said, well, luckily we got the one that I wanted because we had it in our wedding. And so I think it was about 6 months later, we went to their house in Onaga, and she said, come upstairs, I have something to show you. And she pulled it out of the closet. She said, is this the quilt you were talking about? And I said, how did you get it? And she said, I have no idea. So actually, I think when Grandma Rainey passed away, I don't even think it was in her house. I think they already had it. So my other sister-in-law still doesn't know that I have it.
Good job.
Yeah. And I still haven't made my own bow tie because I don't need to now.
Now, there's a little problem here. We do videotape this. Oh, okay. And it will be on our Facebook page. So if you're
secrets today, realize it might be broadcast to the world.
I'm Sylvia Levings. I'm from Topeka. I guess it was while my sister and I were still in school that my grandmother and my great-grandmother decided that they were going to give us each a quilt. Well, the other one that my sister got the choice of was the same lady, but she had balloons. And I guess, so then my grandmothers decided they'd make me one because I liked Kathy's better than the one I got. I think this, my memory is that they called it a colonial lady. I tried looking this up with online old patterns, and they were calling everything sunbonnet Sue. But I don't think that, to me, this isn't a sunbonnet Sue. It's a colonial lady. That's all.
It's hand done. I mentioned that it's hand appliqued and
hand appliqued and embroidered and quilted. And I'm sure that it was quilted with the First Lutheran.
it looks like it was even hand set together.
I said that wrong. Trinity Lutheran in Greenleaf, Kansas.
Hi, I'm Henrietta Area from Mayetta, Kansas. I did not make this quilt, but I have a story about this quilt that I wanted to share today. And I had to write my notes so I don't go over 2 minutes. And I'm calling this story The Travels of a Quilt. And I think we all understand how quilts do travel. Sometimes to thrift stores, and I think, oh, why are you here? This was made by a woman whom I'm going to name Barbara. I can't share any greater information than that about her. Barbara lived in Mayetta, Kansas. She was born in northwest Kansas, but spent her adult life in and around Mayetta. She ran a store in Mayetta, and when she retired, she pursued a couple of interests very passionately, one of which was quilting, and the other was painting. Her house was just covered with paintings that she had done. She also did something really interesting, and that is that she and her siblings shared the care of their very elderly mom. And mom would go from one home to the other in about 6 or 8 week cycles. And it was pretty neat. I thought it was beautiful. The reason I got to even enter that home is that the mom needed some home health care, and I was her nurse. And in being in the home, I came to understand that I was in the home of a quilter. There was always fabric out, there was a quilting frame out, needles, threads, all the accoutrements that we're all very familiar with. And I really admired that and was pretty impressed that this woman who was caring for her mom had time to piece quilts. I'm only guessing, I think it was probably made in the 80s. I'm sure there's some polyester fabrics in there. I think it's mostly garment stuff. It is machine pieced and machine appliqued, but they embroidered. This stuff is hand embroidered and it's hand quilted. It's very heavy. All right, back to the story. As time went on, the lady who made the quilt became ill, and I became her hospice nurse. She asked for me to be her hospice nurse. I came to know her children because they were in and out caring for her. After she died, the family asked me to come to her estate sale, and I bought a mason jar full of wooden spools. I'm one of those wooden spools people. If you know about that, you know I can't walk past them. Not long, she had 3 children. Not long
after she had passed, I learned from a family member that her daughter down around Wichita was quite ill. And I knew that this daughter was very alone in the world. No husband, no children. And I reached out to her with occasional notes and cards, just letting her know I was thinking of her and wishing her well in her journey through cancer care. And I did learn then at a time later from her family that she had died. When her mother died, this daughter asked to have this quilt. So it was sent down to her at her Wichita home and became her possession. I'd like to think perhaps it comforted her when she was ill, but I don't actually know that. About a year after the daughter had died down in Wichita, another family member came into my office, or into our office at the hospital, and she had a big bundle in her arms. And that bundle turned out to be this quilt. And she told me that when the daughter was very near the end of her life, she told her family that she wanted me to have this quilt in appreciation for what I had done, which wasn't much, but apparently it made a difference for her. I was just stunned and deeply moved, but I also knew as a nurse that I could not accept a gift of that magnitude. And I said that to the family member, and she refused to take it out of her office and asked me to think about it. A co-worker of mine helped me to understand that the daughter was never my patient, she was a friend, and that it was ethical for me to accept the gift. So I became the owner of this quilt. I don't use it very much, it's very heavy and very warm. I hope someday you gals can attest to that. She's sweating. I hope someday to maybe connect with this lady's one remaining child and see if he has daughters or children or grandchildren who would like to own it. And if not that, I probably will donate it for a raffle to benefit our hospice organization.
Moving to Afghans now. We have a couple.
Okay, not a story like Henrietta's, but when my mom was alive, she crocheted, and she tried to teach me how to crochet, but she is right-handed and I'm left-handed. So I would do what she told me to do, and she'd say, well, it looks right, but it's backwards. Well, I heard it's wrong. So I was done with that. I was not going to crochet. But I saw this, and she used to make granny squares all the time. And I saw this at a little antique store in Marysville. And it just reminded me of my mom, so I bought it.
Looking at the granny square Afghan over there, I thought once upon a time I would learn to crochet. So I started making granny squares at wrestling meets. Well, my square wasn't very square, and one of our cheerleaders, Barb Abbott's daughter, was an excellent crocheter, so I said, could you fix this for me? She said, sure, I can fix it. Well, I thought somehow she was going to pull up stitches, and she started unraveling the whole thing. I haven't crocheted since. And I did not make this. My mother-in-law, Leona Burgess, crocheted this Afghan. And I think it's a broom stitch. Does anybody know for sure on that? It's been in the cedar chest. None of her daughters wanted it. And my husband, he would keep anything as long as it's out of sight.
I have a niece that's getting married, and she will get this Afghan from her, to be her great-grandmother. But I wanted to show it. I thought it was beautiful. I admire that type of crochet, and I haven't seen very much of that. So, thank you.
I hope that's not too heavy for you, maybe.
They get lighter as they get older.
You could, well, I guess it is long.
Yeah, you gotta hold that up close to your
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Nancy Justice, my husband Larry, and this quilt was made by his mother and her mother-in-law. The summer, they got married in August of 35, and her mother-in-law made this quilt so that they would have a nice quilt for the winter time. And it's 91 years old, and we don't use it. I hung it for a while, but I just can't bring myself to use it because it's so old.
It is
And
hand-pieced,
hand-pieced,
hand-quilted.
hand-quilted, yes. And Larry's mother was a beautiful seamstress, and she did everything. There wasn't anything she couldn't do. But she sewed a lot for our girls, and she made a baby blanket for each one of them. But this is something, and what always puzzled me with this was the light color of the surrounding of the border, that it was peach color. And back in 35, I wouldn't have thought there'd been much peach color. I never did, and she couldn't explain that either, so. Okay, thank you, ladies.
My name is Marie Spivak. This quilt, we don't really know who exactly made it, but we think it's either my great-great-grandma Marie Teskey or Lena, she's one of the servers, her great-grandma. Great-great-grandma. One second, I wrote or one of the sisters. It looks like it was like a beginner quilt. They were practicing because there's a lot of mistakes. And so it looks like it was for that a beginner made it. Sometimes we use it on my bed and stuff. That I use it a lot. And my grandpa has the sewing machine that it was most likely made with. Yeah.
So how old would the quilt be? You don't know
I'm
exactly.
guessing like around 1940s or before, but we're not really sure. I don't know if anybody knows.
It's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna talk a little bit. Debbie gave me permission, okay?
We're gonna let it rest.
You don't have to hold it up. Okay.
We're gonna let it rest down here.
Okay, so my great-grandma Marie that possibly had made it, she had her notes, and I read through them. Sorry, I have to go find this. Okay, so she wrote down the notes that the story that her mother told her of the Abbott's family living in Germany and coming over on the ship. And so since that's the featured quilter, I was going to share the story with you. She was the oldest of the children of Christian Abbots and his wife Wilhelmina Zabel, and her name was Wilhelmina Abbots Martin. Okay, and here's her story. Wilhelmina Martin Abbots came to, Wilhelmina Abbots Martin, came to America from Germany because in Germany her family was very poor. They almost lived on potatoes and herring. Potatoes were very plentiful. She dug potatoes all summer as their work. They seldom had eggs, had the milk from one goat for 3 families, and the goat died, so they didn't have milk. The family didn't have an oven, so the bread was made in the home and took to a large oven in the village to be baked, just when they could afford to buy flour. Otherwise, they had no bread. Some people heard about America where milk and honey flows. People were rich, they heard, so they followed the crowd to America, but were very homesick for Germany. Coming over, they were on the ship 14 days, had to be vaccinated for smallpox. There was a rope dividing those who were waiting. When the small sister was vaccinated, she cried. She cried so hard. One man on the boat told Wilhelmina to take her, but be sure you get back on this side of the rope, otherwise you won't get vaccinated. Wilhelmina never got back to be vaccinated. When they came here, the whole family got smallpox, all but Wilhelmina. The little sister died with them. And we never did find out where she was buried. And Wilhelmina never did get smallpox or lumps. And I had talked to somebody in the Abbott's family, and they had showed me where there's record of the baby sister that got off of the ship, but there's no record of the baby sister being buried here. So somewhere along the way, they had to leave her behind.
What year was that?
Oh. We have it somewhere, I think 1856 or something. Yeah, we do have it somewhere, yes. And Wilhelmina was 17 years old at the time when they came over on the ship, and she was the oldest of her siblings.
How many siblings did she have?
There was a lot of them.
This one hasn't been quilted. This is kind of a mystery quilt for us. The lady that who had died in 21, we believe, in Oklahoma, this quilt top was included with all the fabric that they gave to our quilt group. And Robin looked it up. I think tumbling blocks is one pattern that it might be. So how many of you have ever watched an old quilt? I mean, like a really old quilt. Well, if you ever do, retro clean is what you need to use. And I soaked this 6 times. And each time, the water was so dirty, my husband said, it looks like the Mississippi River. And it lightened up so much after the 6th time. And then we put it out on the grass in the sunshine, and it brightened it up. But we have no idea who made it. I don't think the lady that we got the fabric from did. I think it was just included with what she sent for us. But it's beautiful. It's all hand pieced.
And I'm sure each little section was hand cut with a pair of scissors, one layer at a time, not like we do today with rotary cutters. And, you know, and made from leftover clothes or whatever they had. So I think our quilt group is looking to hand quilt it, just to keep it so that it's genuine to the character of this quilt.
It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes.
I'm Jennifer Ian. I don't really know anything about this quilt. It was brought into the budget shop in Manhattan. The Catholic Church in Manhattan has a budget shop, and I work there on Monday mornings. And it was dropped off, and so I purchased it at a very reasonable price. And I don't know. I think it's maybe 40s. I'm not really sure. I think this shows the importance of a label on a quilt saying who made it and where it came from. There were 2 quilts, and another one was a grandmother's flower garden, and I have it. So, yeah, I don't know if some of those are feet. I don't know feet sacks. I don't know if it's later than that. It was all hand-pieced, I think, and hand-quilted.
Yes.
And it was it's in excellent condition. There's one spot where I need to replace, but other than that, it's really in good condition, and so is the other one.
This quilt was handmade by my husband's aunt, Gladys Adamic Dolacek in Wilson, Kansas. I bought it at their farm sale in 1980 something because I liked it, and then after the sale she came up and said that was either the first quilt she made or one of the first quilts she made, and she was 13 years old in the 1930s. You'll notice that side is faded. I used it, or I let my daughter use it on her bed, and that's where the window was, and it faded. But we used it, and we really love it. I need to soak it in retro clean. I think it would clean it up, it would brighten it a bit. But we're really proud of it, and we got the bedroom set at that sale also, and so it's on that bed.
Well, that's cool.
We have one little girl up here just dying for the door prizes. Thinking of our quilts, Dee Groff, I usually draft her to do the labels for me to put on quilts. How many of you are very faithful at putting a label on the back of your quilt so you know when it was made, who made it, maybe a little bit of the history that you want the next generations to know about. That's a real important aspect of documenting our quilts. As you look that over there, think of the history and the stories we heard today. Think of the love those quilts represent. And as you make your next project, kind of say a little prayer for the next person that quilt is going to pass on to. And yes, it's time for door prizes.